Welcome dear students of grade 12 economics class of St. Peter's College, Colombo Nigambu branch. Today I am going to discuss with you about the output approach. Again, this will be an introduction to the output approach. So we are in the lesson National Accounting. So what do you mean by the national income accounting? What are we going to do by accounting for the national income? So it says national income accounting is the statistical technique used to analyze the structure and the performance of the overall economy. So if you take the economy as a whole, what is the performance? How much is the goods and services produced during a given period of time in that particular economy? So it measures the monetary value of all economic activities of all institutional units in the economy during a certain period of time. So if you read carefully what is national income accounting, you can see there are specific terms which are very important. It measures the monetary value of all economic activities of all institutional units of the economy during a certain period of time. So what guides us in preparing the national income accounts? It is SNA 2008, which is the System of National Accounts 2008, published by the United Nations, provide us the guidance in preparing the national income accounts. So here there are some key macroeconomic flows which are estimated under the national income accounting. So while preparing the national income accounts, we will find out the aggregate output or else the aggregate expenditure, or else we can calculate the aggregate expenditure to incur to purchase the goods and services. It says aggregate output, aggregate income and the aggregate expenditure. So with the knowledge of circular flow, all three will give you the same answer because the output equals the income equals the expenditure. So this is the background of national income accounting. So let's move on to the first approach, which is the output approach or else the product approach. So under the product approach, we will estimate the gross domestic product of the economy. So you have already heard about this term, what is called the GDP. So we are going to estimate the GDP of the economy using the product approach or the output approach. So what is GDP? GDP is the monetary value of all final goods and services produced within the geographical boundaries of an economy by all residential institutional units during a certain period of time. So here again, when you are talking about the GDP, there are certain words stressed. It says final goods and services within the geographical boundaries, that is the domestic, by all the residential units in the economy during a certain period of time. So all keywords should be there if you are explaining this particular term. Okay, let's see what is the economic area. What do you mean by the geographical boundary? So as you know, when estimating the GDP, we will take whatever the final goods and services produced within the geographical boundaries of that particular economy. So therefore, the economic area is the entire set of resident institutional units residing in that particular geographical boundaries, or else where the people, goods, capital can move freely under the individual government with an effective economic control is called the economic area in talking about the national accounting. So for the economic area, what is the boundary? So boundaries are the land area of a country. So what final goods and services produced are taken into the calculation of gross domestic product. The final goods and services produced within the land area of the country, within the airspace of the country, within the territorial waters of the country, or else by the territorial enclaves of the country. So here it says about the foreign embassies, foreign high commissions, military bases, research centers and diplomatic immunity. Then let's see who are residents. So there may be people who are coming from foreign countries and reside in the country. Are we going to take whatever the goods and services produced by those individuals as well for our GDP calculation? Let's see. In this, we consider only these few people as residents. So whatever the goods and services produced only by these people will be taken into the GDP calculation. So who are they? Individuals employed in foreign countries for a period less than 1 year. Even though some people who are, say for example in Sri Lanka, Sri Lankans can be residing in foreign countries. Are they residents for us? Yes. Therefore, even though the individuals employed in foreign countries for a period less than 1 year will be counted as residents of that particular country. Even though they are not physically there in our country, we will take their contribution as well. Individuals residing in foreign countries. Some people, they will reside in foreign countries for their own business purposes, or some people like artists. The first one is they are employed, but the second one is they are not employed in a particular organization, but they are like doing their own business, or else they are artists, or some people like they have their offices there. So they are also considered as residents, but should be they are in the foreign country only for a period less than 1 year. Then there are set of people again who are not physically in the country, like crew members serving in aircrafts, ships and other international vehicles on move. Sometimes they may be not physically in the country, they are in a moving vehicle outside the boundaries of the country, but they are also considered as residents. Then we have the students engaged in academic activities in foreign countries. Some students may have gone to foreign countries for their higher studies. They will also taken as residents. Then natives serving in foreign diplomatic missions in the country. say like who are working in foreign embassies in other countries. The natives employed in international and multinational institutions in the country. So all these people will be considered as residents in national accounting. Right. Then, is there any possibility of occurring errors in calculating the GDP? Yes, there is a common error that could occur in calculating the GDP due to double counting or multiple counting error, which means the same figure will be calculating either twice or sometimes more than twice. The same figure will be taken at different stages, but that will count the same figure in multiple times. Actually, physically, the output will be there, but the same output, the value of the same output will be included twice or more than twice for the national accounting. So therefore, it will count to double counting error, and therefore due to that, it will overestimate the value of GDP. So how are we going to overcome this error? So to overcome this double counting or the multiple counting error, we have two approaches. Either we can follow the final product approach in calculating the GDP, or else we can follow the value addition approach. So what are these two approaches? What is final product approach? So under this approach, only the value of final goods and services that have passed the final stage of production will be counted only, or else the goods and services which can be consumed without further processing will be taken into the national accounts. So in estimating this, we have to adjust the value of change in inventory here. So that is the final product approach. And what is the value addition approach? Here in the final product approach also, we will encounter a difficulty because there may be some products, in some instances it may be a final product, but in another instance it can become an intermediary product. Say for example, it's sugar. If you take sugar, for you and me, in preparing a tea, sugar becomes our final product, final consumer good. So we can consume sugar as it is for our consumption. So it becomes a final product here. But if you take the candy industry, the toffees and lollipops producer, sugar becomes an intermediary product. So in order to produce toffee or a lollipop, they will use sugar as an input. So for that industry, the sugar which you and me are consuming becomes an intermediary product. So it's very difficult to segregate what are final products and what are intermediary products. So therefore, in order to overcome this difficulty, the value addition approach is there. In this approach, we will calculate the gross value added. Another term, another new term, the gross value added. That is, how much is the additional value added to the final product at each different stage. If you take the production flow and if you have, say for example, 3-4 production stages, at every stage by how much the total value of the product increase. The additional amount will only be taken and all the additions will add up to the gross value added. So, in order to get the clear understanding, let's look at this through an example. So here you have the example. So in this example, the making of a shirt is given. The production has 3 stages. So the value of the final product at each different stage is given here. So let's calculate how much is the intermediary products input to the we have the intermediary products included input to the production at each stage, and let's calculate what is the value addition here. So if you take the first stage, the value of output is 10,000. So that is the basic input. So no intermediary products here. So this is the value addition at the first stage. Then you have the thread, the second stage. Coming to the second stage, the total value of the output becomes 15,000, and the intermediary product here is at the second stage. Whatever the output produced at the first stage becomes an intermediary product at the second stage. So therefore, this 10,000 becomes an intermediary product at the second stage. So therefore, what is the new value added at the second stage? It's only 5,000. So additional value will only be 5,000. Then go to the third stage. At the end of the third stage, the value of the final product becomes 22,000. But in this stage, the total intermediary products used become 15,000, because up to this level, the value of the total output up to the second stage becomes the intermediary product at the third stage. So therefore, how much is the additional value at the third stage? It's only 7,000. The new value added will only be 7,000 at the third stage. Then this last stage, the total value of the output becomes 35,000, and by this stage, the total value of the intermediary products becomes 22,000. So up to the third stage, the value of the final product up to the third stage becomes the intermediary product at the last stage. So how much is the additional value at the final stage? It's only 13,000. So therefore, if we add the final value of the output at each different stages and calculate the GDP, what will happen? It becomes 82,000. But in this 82,000, 47,000 of intermediary products are there. So these 47,000 has been counted in multiple times if we take 82,000. So therefore, the GDP is overstated here. But if we take the value added, what is the actual value added to the output is calculated, we will end up with having 35,000. So 35,000 is the value added at each different stage. The additional value input to the production process will be only 35,000, and you can see that is the final value of the output. So this is your first approach, final product approach, and this is the second approach, the value addition approach, and both the answers will be same here. So therefore there are some new terms which you have to know in the value addition approach. So first you have the gross value of the output. So the gross value of the output is the final value of goods and services produced. Then you have the gross value added, GVA. It's the value received after deducting the value of intermediary inputs from the gross value of output. Then you have the intermediary inputs. So goods and that is the goods and services purchased from outside to the production process. This is also termed as intermediary consumption, and the primary inputs, those are the factors of production used in the production process. So how are we going to calculate the gross value added? So if you take our example, the gross value added equals to the gross value of output minus the intermediary consumption. So if you recall the example, in the shirt production, we have the final value of the output and the intermediary inputs are there. The difference between those two is the gross value added. So here you can see the final values at each stages. Each stage will add up to 82,000, and from that, if we deduct all the intermediary inputs, which was 47,000, that will give you the gross value added, which is 35,000. Then how are we going to estimate the gross value added? For you to estimate gross value added, also there are two ways. One is the product source. Either you can estimate the GVA using the product source, as well as you can estimate the gross value added using the income source. So if you use the product source, here it's our example, we will deduct the value of all inputs purchased from the outside from the value of output. So if you use the income source, what we have to do is to add up all the factor income received in the production process, and again there is another adjustment to be done, which is the depreciation for the utilization of fixed capital. So either you can use the product source or the income source, both will give you the same figure. So here we have an example to estimate the gross value added. So you can see in this hypothetical economy which produces bread, the total output value is 7,000, and to produce that particular the bread production, they use wheat flour, 2,000, other raw materials for 600. Those are all figures are in millions, and the electricity and water 400. Depreciation is 250, wages 1750, rent 700, interest 500, and profit is 800. So using this data, the GDA is estimated using the product source as well as income source. So if you look at the product source, you can see first the value of the final product is given. The value of output is 7,000, and from that all the inputs purchased from outside is deducted. The wheat flour, other inputs, electricity and water is deducted, and the total value addition will come to 4,000. And if the same value addition GVA is calculated using the income source, we will take only the factor income. So for that you have the wages, rent, interest and profits, which is the income for the 4 factors, and for that it will come to 3,750. For that we have to adjust the depreciation, that is 250, and the total value addition come to 4,000. So both the figures will be the same. So that is how we are going to calculate the gross value addition. This is very important because we will use the gross value added in calculating the GDP. So therefore, that is all about the introduction to the output approach. So in our next session, we will see how are we going to estimate the GDP. So thank you very much and God bless you.